Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be talking about transit Uranus conjunct one's natal north node. When we're talking about transits that involve Uranus, they can be about uniqueness, what's unorthodox, the unusual, disruptions. It could be sudden, unanticipated changes, and also freedom and independence. When transit Uranus conjoins your natal north node, well, this could manifest in a lot of uniqueness, unorthodox energy, disruptions, freedom and independence. It could be a lot of freedom and independence to pursue one's future and their destiny and what their mission, their purpose may be. It can be a period where there might be something that was just was happening that was very spontaneous or unpredictable that played a role in what direction we're going. It could even just be for example, like a home situation that may have changed unexpectedly. If you had this say if you have this in the zodiac sign Cancer or the fourth house, there could be, again, it could be some unanticipated transition in one's home or family or living situation. It may impact the ones where the future is, because as a result one may be changing job and go to a job at a different geographic location. And also too, there might be, the north node is like, can be connected with the development of positive attributes. You're going away from the south node, at least largely to some degree. The north node is where we are supposed to be headed and accentuate and emphasize, especially in the second or part of one's life, maybe 35 and older. And it can be something where there may be something of a very Uranus related, where you may be, as far as some kind of ingenuity maybe is added to what you're doing in terms of the development of the positive attributes. It could be a friend maybe figuring more prominently in the direction you're going. It might be doing something with computers or electronics, or something with the internet. Say if this is in Aquarius and you're in some astrological profession, you're in your field, this is the time when you're being more directed toward that as far as your future goes. It may be doing it in conjunction more with the internet and computers, more online readings than what you had previously been doing. And the North Node could be connected with what the destiny, what may be preordained. I mean, say if you have this in the seventh house, it could be a situation with a significant partner, or a significant other, a marriage partner. It may be some like business partnership. Say if this is in Scorpio as an example, it could be something connected, like a business partnership connected with locksmithing, something with the occult, supernatural, which can include astrology. It can be some kind of forensics or some kind of investigation. A company that you may be involved in, or forensics. Another thing too is that the North Node can also be about issues that one may need to confront or address. So it might be a time, it might be an unusual situation that might be have to be addressed or confronted. Like say if this is in the 11th house, it might be a friend that might be exhibiting or demonstrating rather bizarre or idiosyncratic behavior, very unpredictable behavior that it might be something that you have to deal with, whether you really want to deal with it or not. And the North Node is also connected with what we're aspiring to become, what we're trying to be, and especially at that latter part of that second half of one's life, I should say. So if this is again, going back to zodiac sign Aquarius, it could be doing something environmental or doing something more with selflessness, blending in with the group where you're rather unobtrusive as opposed to is going away. You'd be going away from the South Node in Leo in that example, and going away from more perhaps bombastic or very attention-seeking energy as an example. Now, another thing too, another way this could manifest and pan out, this could be about friendships playing a more integral role in the direction that you're moving toward. And again, going back to Aquarius as an example, let's say that this transit falls in Aquarius in the fifth house in your natal chart. Well, it could be doing something group related, which is Aquarius, group related activities that the team allows the team to shine, basically, because the fifth house is the house associated with Leo. It's connected with personal popularity. I would say it can be connected with notoriety to some degree. The 10th house is associated with status and recognition, notoriety, but the fifth house can play a role to some degree because that's where, because it is the house of Leo, it's where one may want to shine. And the thing about this too is in some cases it could be ingenuity, which is Uranus may play a role in one's future, which is the North Node. Now let's say if this falls in Sagittarius as an example, it could be the development, maybe like for example like that person that someone came with some idea of electronic bases or robot umpires, and because Sagittarius is associated with sports, Uranus is connected with innovation, and it's associated with electronics, computers. Now, another thing too, and going back to the fact that the North Node can be associated with issues one may have to confront or address, this could be a time where Uranus-related matters in general may need to be dealt with at this time. And let's say if this falls in Aries in the fifth house as an example, it could be dealing with a rebellious, which is Uranus energy, rebellious, or an acrimonious, which is Aries child. Fifth house is, of course, associated with children, but it could be manifold things that are associated with Uranus, not just rebellion, but idiosyncratic behavior of somebody. It might be dealing with constant disruptions or something that's very erratic and sporadic in your life. If it's in the sixth house, for example, it could be a very erratic and sporadic kind of work schedule. And the thing is, it can also be a time to, and sometimes it could even be an accident that may transpire or take place in some isolated cases that one may have to deal with. And this is something too, another thing about this transit is that it could be, really some kind of unanticipated or very unpredictable spontaneous event may impact the path that you're going on. Now let's say if this falls in Pisces in the fourth house as an example, it could be some flooding which is associated with Pisces in the home, which is the fourth house. Now, another thing too about having this transit is that some isolated remote cases, it could be having to deal or cope with some Uranus physical related issue. It could be something like with the ankles, the shins, the calves, nerves, maybe circulation. It can be some kind of unusual health related matter, especially say if this falls in the first or sixth house in your natal chart. The first house is associated with the physical body. Sixth house can be connected with the physical health and physical injuries, debilitations. In rare cases, it could be something like, I don't know if I'm saying this right, the hemiparesis, when half the body is paralyzed, as an unusual type of health situation that one may have to contend or deal with. And keep in mind too, a lot of times, I would say this is a very auspicious transit for one's future in general, because you're talking about Uranus is the planet that is associated with the future. The North Node is tied in to one's future and the direction that one is heading toward. Now, in some cases, I would say too, this can manifest in somebody that is connected with Uranus, maybe more figure more prominently in where you're going in your future, and it might be something like some preordained or destined kind of meaning. It could be. Hold on a moment, people. It could be somebody that's an astrologer, say an innovator, somebody that's in astronomy or aerospace, a person that works in computers or information technology, electronics. It could also be a person that's connected with humanitarianism, some kind of altruistic um, efforts. Say this could be a person too that might be, turn out to be a friend as well, and that person may be figuring more prominently in the direction you're heading, more so than usual. It can be a very important transit for somebody, and this really generally won't take place, at least in the majority of instances, more than one time in one's life, because remember that Uranus is a very slow transit. It takes about 84 years to traverse all 12 zodiac signs. If you were born with your natal Uranus um, close to your north node, let's say it was in a position that was and your natal Uranus was at a position that was a little bit before the north node, but it wasn't conjunct. In some case, you may get it. You may get the transit more than one time, but the thing about it is you would get it so early on the first time, you wouldn't really have much recollection of, really in most cases, what actually transpired. It may not be anything of any significance if you're only 1 or 2 years old at the time. So if you understand what I'm saying, so the transit you could experience the first one at a very early point in your life, and the second one could be at a very older age. You might be like 85, 90 years old when the second one actually comes around. So anyway, people, that will conclude this YouTube astrological segment. Until next time, people, Edwin Learnard saying stay well.